Wish I had a stender up here. If everyone could come in and find their seats, your next course is now being served. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome to the Healthcare Show. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jonah Blumenthal, the Chief Marketing Officer for Typoductions, and also the host of today's event. Welcome to the Healthcare Show, where we gather today to explore and shape the future of senior living. It's an honor to stand before so many distinguished attendees as we embark on this remarkable journey together. In this ever-evolving world of senior living, our ability to adapt and innovate becomes paramount. We find ourselves at the intersection of groundbreaking technologies, transformative policies, and the relentless pursuit of improving lives. Today, we are here to share knowledge, exchange ideas, and collaborate towards a healthier and more sustainable future. As executives, leaders, and visionaries in healthcare, you bear the weight of responsibility for driving change. Our decisions impact not only the organizations led, but also the lives of countless individuals around the country. This conference provides us with a unique opportunity to navigate the challenges we face and find solutions that will shape the industry for years to come. Throughout this event, we will have the privilege of engaging with experts from various healthcare sectors who will share their insights, experiences, and expertise. Together, we will explore groundbreaking research, discuss cutting-edge technologies, and delve into ideas that have the potential to revolutionize the healthcare industry. By leveraging the power of collaboration and collective intelligence, we can ensure that our decisions are grounded in evidence, compassion, and a shared commitment to excellence. Beyond the educational aspect, this conference offers a platform for networking and fostering relationships. Take advantage of this opportunity to connect with your peers, share stories, and build partnerships that will strengthen our industry. The exchange of ideas that takes place within these walls has the potential to ignite innovation and foster collaborations that go well beyond the walls of your facilities. As we gather here today, let us not forget the reason why we have chosen healthcare as our life's work. It's our calling to serve, to heal, and to uplift those in need. Every resident, every family, and every community that we touch relies on us to deliver the best care possible. It is this shared sense of purpose that unites us in our pursuit of excellence. Not too much longer, don't worry. I encourage each one of you to embrace the challenges that lie ahead, to be bold in your visions, and to embrace the power of collaboration. Let us seize this opportunity to shape the future of healthcare together. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. May this conference inspire us, educate us, and empower us to create a better tomorrow for all. I'd like to personally thank my partners in this event. Amitai Stern, clap, there we go, there you go. Joel Wall, Yehuda Suskind, and Max Schlesinger for making this show a reality. There we go. The late nights, the constant communication, and I do mean constant, and the tireless work that went into creating this event are immeasurable. But looking around this room and all the other rooms here, I believe it was all worth it. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first group of panelists. The panel is in-house versus outsourcing, or is it quality versus control? Our moderator, Evan Coe, Regional VP for KARE. Come on up. Peretz Rapoport, VP of Product for EMPEON. Okay, now I feel like we need another round of applause for Evan also after that. Come on. Renee Przansky, COO, Choice Care Management. Bernie McGuniness, CEO, Bernie McGuniness Healthcare. And David Cheplowitz, CEO, ENVIVE Healthcare. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to hand the mic over to our moderator, Evan, and I hope you all enjoy.
Jonah, thanks for the introduction. Appreciate the late clap for me and the louder claps for these panelists, but that probably would have gone without saying. My name is Evan Coe. I'm the RVP for KARE. I am your moderator for today's session. I'm going to start out with a little story time, so hopefully you guys are all comfortable, have water, coffee, whatever you need to keep you awake. So, we've all been there, right? You land at your destination and head towards the car rental area. You slide into the front seat of an Infiniti or insert your favorite car here, and start heading to the exit. On the way out, they ask you if you'd like to prepay for a full tank of gas. It costs less than you'll pay at the pump, but in the back of your mind, I think this all the time, I'm not gonna use a full tank of gas, I'm only here for a couple days, it's a waste of money. So you skip it. Fast forward 2 days, you're heading towards the airport, you're in a rush. You forget that you have to take the rental car to the gas station, back to the car rental place, get on the bus, head to the terminal, tram, whatever that process looks like. Plus, you'll need to grab some souvenirs for the kids or else you're really toast, especially from my wife. You got a quarter tank left, but finding a gas station doesn't really feel important now, right? So you grin in the mirror to yourself and accept the fact that you're gonna pay $100 for the gas when you could have paid $46 from the start. So, you go through this back and forth in your head, why did I do this, why did I do this? The big question, why? Because control drives us. We like to be the master of our own destinies, but is it smart? Did I win? Did you win? Did you save time or money? No, but at least you made your own decision. While operating a skilled nursing facility, we all have vendors, employees, partners, investors, and more. When does it make sense to retain control? And when does it make sense to let the experts handle what they are experts at? When does it make sense to save or make enough or bring on the added stress and headaches of running a business within your business? These are some of the points that we're going to bring to light today. And first, I would like to turn to the panelists and asks. Peretz, you ready? Okay. As an ancillary business, what are the biggest obstacles your clients face causing them to bring you in-house, EMPEON, to replace their current HCM, payroll, HR, or time and attendance?
Okay, thank you. Honored to be on the panel with the greatest. And thank you, Jonah, for putting it together. Okay, so Evan, I think that everyone in this room would agree that a happy, healthy, and steady workforce is the heartbeat of healthcare providers. I think we all agree to that. And on the flip side, it's one of the biggest challenges they face. And the obstacles are many, starting with onboarding new hires. We have a new client of ours we're working with now, and they're telling us that they lost, I didn't believe this number when I first heard it, close to 400 new hires due to a faulty onboarding process. I sat with a prospect who is struggling to onboard new hires, and it was obvious what's happening. They hire a new employee, and they dump on them a new hire packet as thick as a dictionary. We all know turnover cost is horrendous. CMS rating affects the quality of care, of course. So it starts with having a smooth and digitized onboarding process, onboarding experience for your new hires. Thank you. And that theme needs to continue throughout the employee life cycle. And that could lead to low turnover rates. So for example, missed punches, employees forgetting to clock in or out. Typically, this turns into paper timesheets, a lot of drama, phone calls, emails, and the employee not getting paid on time, which is not great for employee retention. But if you had a systemized process where the employee is notified that they forgot to clock out and they can digitally request a fix for that missed punch, and the manager can digitally review and approve it. There you have it. No drama, no phone calls, no emails, and employee is paid on time. And talking about pay, employees who are paid on time, accurately, and with transparency are more likely to show up to work the next day. Simple formula. And I would say like this is not just about your current facilities. This is about scalability. We're fortunate to partner with hundreds of facilities, and we're seeing that when our clients are taking on a new facility, they want to gain the trust of the employees that are coming along with that facility. If it's a rocky transition for those employees, you might lose some of them. So a big hat tip, we're seeing many employers who recognize this and are investing in their workforce. But at the same time, we are seeing that many of them are landing with multiple systems, multiple vendors, a system for payroll, a system for onboarding, a system for scheduling, a system for attendance, and that is not scalable. And at times, we hear from them that they feel like they're running a business within a business. So if you're looking to partner with an HCM provider, you want to look at one that could give you automations, processes, a true all-in-one system so things don't fall between the cracks. A partner who understands the healthcare space, the unique healthcare space, and could give you tailored solutions. And that could lead to tremendous success and would allow you to focus what we all do best, growing a business and providing care. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a fantastic answer.
Thank you.
To the rest of the panelists, let me ask a follow-up question here. What two services or departments, or any amount really, have you taken in-house that were previously handled by a vendor, and how has that panned out from a financial and operational standpoint? And the floor is open to anyone.
Okay, I'll go. I'd like to firstly thank Joel Wall and his team for bringing me here today. Without being on the panel, I'd probably be back home taking care of the kids. Well, what Peretz is saying, it's actually allowed me to come up with an analogy, which is basically, we have this in SNFs all over, where, it's snowing, raining, whatnot. Where do people fall? They fall out on the sidewalk. And although the sidewalk is part of what we're insured for, that's where the cracks are, and that's where the falls are. And for me, it sounds like it's exactly what you're saying. To outsource a job, sorry for calling it a job, but to outsource a job where there's so many cracks and so many things that can fall apart and can be so destructive, I think it's important to do that. While, as opposed to perhaps, I'll just say dietary for now, where it's under your roof, we do have control whether people are in the building or not in the building, and making sure you have the appropriate processes in place. So I think that's something that can help decipher whether you're outsourcing or keeping it in-house.
Okay, I have a couple of words here. First of all, Jonah, you spoke about control versus quality. So the irony is not lost on me that this is about control and you have me up here. So I'm definitely proof positive of somebody that likes to have a lot of control. Everyone knows in our industry that if you leave go of control for even a second, there are so many levers, it'll be a really big headache. So I don't think it's a general answer. What do you outsource? Do you have one way of doing it? Outsource everything or keep everything in-house? I think it's very individual depending on the department. And I'll give you some examples. And to me, there's no disparity between control and quality. I will not outsource if I don't still have control, and I will not outsource if I don't still get the quality. But the almighty dollar is not always the deciding factor, because like your example earlier, you could be penny wise and pound foolish. So you also have to think about staffing. You have to think about what type of talent you have in your building. And it doesn't mean that you have to do the same thing in every single building in a portfolio. So the decision has to be, where can you get better performance, better quality of care if you outsource versus doing it in-house? So I'll give you a good example. I was always, people who know me, always been very innovative. You have done a lot of things with medical directors, with telemedicine over the years. I was a very early adopter in 2012, probably the first building way before COVID was even a word. And people looked at me and they said, "You're crazy, you're doing telemedicine, it's not reimbursed." And again, I said, it's not about the almighty dollar. Our census was full because we were keeping the patients in. It was the right thing for quality. The staff was happy because there wasn't all that transition with patients going in and out of the hospital. So I was a really big believer of that. And I figured, hey, if I started that and pioneered that so early on, all these companies come along, why would I outsource it? I mean, I pretty much invented this. And then you realize that it depends how much you're going to allocate to that. How much sweat equity are you going to put into that? As long as you can identify your goals, and as long as you bring in a vendor, like medical director services, for example, again, I always built my own medical director program, but when I heard that there's a company that focuses on that and specializes in that, it became an extension of ourselves. I don't look at outsourcing like they're a separate company. And sometimes an outsourced company likes that, sometimes they don't. It's not always a good partnership. You have to see what your goals are, make sure that you're establishing the expectations and monitoring performance. So everyone's on the same page. We know when it's going well, we know when it's not going well. Same with nurse practitioners. For quality of care, I brought those in very early on in, and having a company manage that for you, believe me, with the staffing issues, I'm not going to compromise. I still want a higher level of clinical care in my buildings, but I'm okay outsourcing it. So those are just a few examples. You have the obvious ones like back office. Back office is something that, used to think if it's about billing and if it's about the almighty dollar, that why would I give that responsibility to another company? But enter Stage Right, a really good back office company. They're collecting more than you can. They're taking care of those Medicaid pendings. Gosh, does anyone love doing that by show of hands? Medicaid pending,
Don't
anyone?
see many hands.
Meet me outside, I'll get you a drink. I saw coffee, I'll get you something stronger. So you have to know when to outsource. But again, control versus quality, I disagree with that statement. You want to never compromise. You want to keep your high standards. You want to maintain control, maintain quality by making sure the vendors you choose are truly in sync with what your outcomes are to be expected.
Awesome. Thanks for that answer. And you made virtual cool before it was cool. Bernie, anything to add?
Yeah, I've come from different organizations where we had therapy in-house, for example, or the back office in-house. And then I think you have to look at your organization, where you're at in your growth. Are you a new organization? Are you in growth mode? Do you have the bandwidth to be able to take this on? I think anytime you look to outsource, you're looking at maintaining that quality. You're looking at maintaining that control. Do you have the personnel to be able to do it? Do you have a champion within your organization that can help manage that vendor? And are you choosing a vendor that's truly not a vendor, but a partner, right? I mean, we need partners, not vendors. A vendor you're going to change. A partner is along for the journey with you. And do you have the bandwidth at this time in your organization to be able to outsource this or bring it in-house, depending on what you want? I'm used to an in-house back office, but when forming this last organization, you're taking 4 buildings and you go to 40 buildings in 5 years, you can't afford to mess up and make the wrong hire when you're coming to cash flow and collections, right? So having that expertise, having the amount of staff that a great back office company could bring to you from day one, when you're buying 4 buildings, you can't have that expertise. You can't have those resources. Therapy is another item I think everybody looks at. Do you outsource it? Is it in-house, right? Do you use one of these management models to oversee it? It really depends on who you are as the operator, where you're at in your journey, what you're willing to control. Do you have the right person in your organization to help manage this partner that you do choose? Because every vendor in here, every partner, they still need a champion within your organization that they can contact with. And like I tell all my partners, my job is not to learn your org chart. I don't want to know. I want to know who is the go-to person as my partner when there is an issue, that we're going to get it resolved, because we're going to have issues, you're going to have issues, but if we're truly in a partnership, how do we work through those? So I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all answer, but I do really believe that vendors can't be vendors. They have to be partners. So,
Yeah. As you three shared that, in my head, it's not a one-size-fits-all for every organization, especially based on your org chart and your corporate office all the way down to the building. And it's the heartbeat of the organization, those frontline workers. All right, so let's do this. Let's go around the horn again. Let's try to do like a minute to a minute and a half each, because I know people are going to get hungry here shortly. But let's flip it around. So what services did you have in-house that you have now outsourced, and how has that gone? Talk about tipping points, when it makes sense, when it doesn't, and personal experiences with your guys' organizations. Anyone can start.
Okay, I'll start. It brings me to two thoughts. One is, just now, as I look to take over another building, as we say, I've been battling with the idea of which vendor to go with, and I'll leave it at that. Try to limit any gossip that comes out of this. And the the battle is that I really believe in one, to be a real good service provider, really good service provider. Spoke to other, what we call competitors, who are friends in the business. And the other vendor will back right into what I guess it's just a carrot. They'll back right into the numbers that I need to see. But I don't think the service is there. And what Bernie ended off talking about is a relationship. I think relationship is so key. That brings the quality. And so for me, hopefully no one knows what I'm talking about, but I'm ready to back right into myself and say, you know what, I appreciate all the time that both of you vendors have given to me, but I'm going to bring it in-house because I will have the quality with God's help, and I'll have that control that we need.
Yeah.
That's one. The other piece was I had brought in the same venue, same idea. This was a number of months ago, probably about a year and a half ago. I felt I needed an outsource. I brought him in, and it really took, I was in a relationship with them, so I spoke to them about the quality. I spoke to them about the service. I spoke to them about the tags that they were involved with state surveys. And probably took 3 months. It took 2 months to unboard them, but it took 3 months to decide that it's just not working.
I think for me, the journey was coming out of COVID pandemic, always had done environmental and dietary in-house for control and quality. But as staffing became just this huge priority for us, especially direct care staffing, and expanding our talent acquisition department to focus on recruiting, I needed the support because finding that dishwasher who wanted to be vaccinated, wear a mask, and not go work at O'Charlie's down the street, right? I mean, trying to find those people to come to the local nursing home became harder and harder, and it detracted, I think, away from the local talent acquisitions focus. So bringing in a couple partners to oversee those departments, let their expertise, let their talent acquisition departments recruit for these, and put the burden of that responsibility to staff those departments on them and allow us to focus on the elimination of agency over a year. That was a strategic decision in which we needed the expertise of an outsourced group to be able to bring down forecastable costs, take away some of that so we could really focus on recruiting direct care staff. And that was a conscious decision. We chose a couple vendors. We've now unified with one partner because you look at the quality control, communication, and we've expanded that service. We didn't go into every building. We did some markets, cluster markets. It really, once again, depends on your organization. But that's a real example over the last couple of years. Departments I did not believe in outsourcing, but I think the environment and the times said, hey, we know we need nurses, and my talent acquisition team needs to go recruit nurses and CNAs and that direct care staff, and I need to give away a little bit of this to the experts to help manage environmental and dietary, while still having a champion over dietary and still had a champion over environmental for the organization to help manage that implementation of those partners.
That's great. It takes a lot of foresight and understanding of yourself to understand what you can't control and what there's other subject matter experts and great partners out there. You want to add anything, Renee?
Yeah, so I guess I'm not a rule follower because I answered earlier what I do outsource,
That's
and
fine.
now I'm going to talk about what I don't outsource. So don't mind
You're
me
fine.
just shaking it up a
Flip-flop,
little bit.
you're good.
And this just shows you also that there are a lot of different opinions. There's no right and wrong. It's also very regionally specific because I definitely hear what you're saying about dietary and housekeeping. Dietary and housekeeping, which I had outsourced for 15 years, I actually brought in-house, and I'm so much happier. I think that we were able, just from a spend, and I understand the staffing issues, but in those specific departments, I felt like the quality was so compromised by outsourced companies. And again, they also had trouble staffing, but I was so specific about what I wanted, and the same way I gave examples before about having vendor partners, which we're all saying is the best word to use, being really aligned with your goals and meeting your expectations. It just felt like a continuous downhill battle where you wanted to get quality food and a really clean facility. I mean, that's first impression for the patients and residents and for visitors. So I chose that to bring in-house and couldn't be happier. It's been really great. And again, just to add to my outsource thing that I did not mention before, therapy, you know, people said to me, Renee, you're the one bringing in all these locomotor treadmill training and things that they only do in acute hospitals. There's no way you outsource your therapy. So somebody was asking me how to bring therapy in-house because they figured I'm definitely one of those people that couldn't be outsourcing. And I said to them, no, I outsource, but I completely control the department. And the reason you don't know I outsource is because they're almost like a white label. You just need them to, you know, be aligned with what you're doing. I want to do very high-tech things. They'll be aligned with you, and it's not a life and death decision. If it's not working for you, like you said, you say, hey, it's not working, walk away. But to be able to have that therapy department staffed, and they know all the nuances of PDPM, don't we all love that one? So we just didn't have the time or the patience. We'd rather focus on dictating to them what new pieces of equipment we want to get in that are state-of-the-art that they better train their people up on, and let them do all of that back-end work. So that really worked for us as well.
Great, great. Thanks for sharing that. All right, so let's play a little scenario game here. David, I'd like for you to approach Peretz as a potential vendor to take on for your group. Tell him your current difficulties within HR and ask how he can fix them, which I'm sure is everything. Play this out as if you were in a meeting and wanted to ensure EMPEON was the right option for ENVIVE. You have 3 minutes on the clock. Go.
Are you sure this was part of it?
Wrong. 3 minutes or what?
Yeah, 180 seconds, go.
Okay, listen, you're in HR, right? So, you know, for me, I pride myself in how I care for my employees. And I've said this before, maybe Bernie heard it. Maybe you taught this to me also. You know, we're like a totem pole. The chief is at the top. You know, if the chief doesn't show up one day, you still have the totem pole. People flip the pyramid. There's a lot of ways to look at this, you know, but if you don't have the folks that are holding up the chief, you got real problems, you know. So for me, I really have a deep appreciation for what these folks are doing on a daily basis, and I want to make sure it's done. You know, these folks that are, whether it's onboarding, getting the right people in, spending the time, you know, it's its own business, I feel, and but there's still a struggle, you know. And if so, you have somebody who can take the bull by the horn and make sure that the outlooks that we have for our company and what we're trying to build with our processes and our protocols and how we care for others, it would be amazing if we had somebody who could sort of head this with quality.
Right. So, David, I think one of the reasons you're so successful in staffing, I think, is because exactly what you said. You really appreciate your employees and you really invest in them. And I know this as a fact. We spoke. And you mentioned that you are scaling and that you're looking to grow. But you also mentioned just now that you feel like you're running a business within a business. And that is understandable because you're trying to satisfy your employees, trying to stay on top of the care, make sure it's top-level care, which is why ENVIVE is so successful. You want to partner with someone who could give you great technology that will enable you to have automations, processes, enable your back office to really focus on making sure the employees feel appreciated and making sure the employees have smooth daily work. I'll give you a quick example. It's so underrated. An employee, Monday they closed their bank account. They notified HR to please stop their direct deposit. HR was overwhelmed, didn't get to it until Thursday. Payroll was processed on Wednesday. Employee was not paid because the money bounced back. How happy is that employee? But if you had the right technology where the employee can simply go in and cancel their direct deposit on their own without having to email or call HR, there you have it. You have a happy employee and your back office is relieved. So you want to partner with someone who has the right technology that is built from ground up for the healthcare space, a true all-in-one system. Because when you have multiple systems, you have also your data is not always accurate. You're trying to pull reports, you're pulling from multiple systems and trying to puzzle it together. But if you have one system that really allows you to manage your workforce, that's a winner. Backed with an amazing team who knows the healthcare space and is there to support you, will enable you to grow.
Where does David sign?
Where's Nasi?
What's the question?
Peretz, you just gave him control, so he'll sign.
That's great. Yeah, give it up, please. Yeah.
I think we have a deal.
Yeah, at this time, we would love to do a Q&A. If there's any questions in the audience, feel free to raise your hand. Jonah's going to be flying around, or speak up, and here's a microphone.
Bueller?
To outsource or not to outsource? I know you all have burning questions. Don't hold them in.
Looks like everyone knows what they're doing.
Or maybe
Anyone?
they're hungry.
Any questions? All right. Oh. What?
I'm here. I'll sit here all day.
All right. If there's no questions, then thank you all. Let's have a big round of applause.
Thank
for
you.
our panelists. And now, on to food. Thank you.